Yes, one more time. I'm live. I'm live. I'm live. I just want to say good afternoon to all the people out there, all the people out there in Media Land. Good afternoon. Want to give thanks and praises to the Triune God for giving me life and for the wonderful work He has been doing in my life, and just want to ask Him for His redeeming power and also for the Holy Spirit to keep me within the boundaries of the Word of God. Um, so today we are going to be, I am going to be reacting to this Muslim Imam. I heard he's an Imam. I'm not sure. Kenny Bomer. He's from, I think, Houston, Texas. I know lately I've been hearing about some things that he's been doing where, but, we are not scared. We have legal rights to react to videos, so I'm going to react to this video. Um, so I'm going to be showing some of the things that he says. And what he's talking about is the right of women in Islam. And we are going to compare what he is saying with what the actual Islamic literature says to see if he's really telling the whole story, um, um, nothing but the truth, so help him God. Because as I say, and so help him Yahweh, Jehovah, the real God. Uh, because you could make his God is obviously not my God, and so he doesn't have to tell the truth. You know, he doesn't have to tell the truth because his God is not my God. So we're gonna see if he's telling the truth. So let's go into it, and I pray that the Holy Spirit allow me to speak nothing but the truth and to use Islamic references clearly, without blunder. So let's go into this video as we react to this video. So, as we see here, let me make sure that you guys are seeing. So, as we see here, it says the right of women in Islam, part 3. So, I did not go to the part 1 or the part 2. I just look at this one and I realize that, it's something that needed to be addressed. If you are dealing with religious issues, you must prepare for people to criticize what you say, because in religious issues there is a fair ground for criticism. So let's look and see what this Imam, as he called himself, is saying. So let's go to it and see what he's going to say.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you. My name is Kenny Bomer, and this is video 3 in the video series on the rights of women in Islam. Men and women are equal yet different. While men and women have equal rights as a general principle in Islam, the specific rights and responsibilities granted to them are not identical.
So what he says men and women have equal rights in Islam. What does he define as equality? And that's that's one of the things that we find that's an error right there. Because if you're saying somebody have equal rights, how can a person, you and I could not have equal rights And in the in the law of inheritance in Islam, if a man have a daughter and a son, the son is supposed to get 2/3 of what the inheritance of the of the man if the man died, and the daughter only get one third, because the son is supposed to get twice as much as what the daughter gets. So how is it that women have equal rights? A woman doesn't have equal rights in Islam. So that's one of the error that we found. And another thing too, is it Quran 4 verse 34 say you can beat your wife, but can your wife beat you? So how is it equal rights? So right from the get-go, we see that what he's saying is not the reality of the actuality. He's living his own reality. It's not the actuality of Islam. It's not what Islam is. So at the end of the day, with a smooth voice and an echo and a boom, it sounds good for TV and radio, but is it the reality that under Sharia law or any under Islamic rule that women would face? No, it's not. And I remember there was an incident that happened with Christian apologist Atun Touch, a very, very fierce woman in her duty for Christ. And I remember a Muslim guy slap her in the face. So 2 times she been attacked, maybe more than 2, but I've known of 2 times where she been attacked, like brutally attacked, where a man slapped her in the face. And I remember Kenny Bomer, he even mentioned my name, but I'm a man, so whatever you want to say, because if a man slapped me, he had to run faster than Satan run. And when he heard when he hear the Quran, quote unquote, when he hear the Quran read, or what, when he hear the prayer, is that what they say? Because he have to be running and farting like Satan, because I'm coming after him. You don't slap me and think you're gonna get away with it. So at the end of the day, he mentioned Atun Touch was the first person this man mentioned, and he said Atun Touch, and he mentioned all these names: Eric Smith, Christian Prince, David Wood, Sam Shamoun, I think, D.L. Tate, and all these names he mentioned, and including my name, my Facebook name. And he says, don't you expect that someone would slap you over the head? So his expectation as a Muslim imam is that a Muslim will slap a woman, because Atun Touch was the first name he mentioned, that a Muslim will slap a woman over the head for speaking the truth about Islam. What he called Islamophobia is actually the truth. So from the bat, we see that he is not actually being true to Islam. Women don't have equal rights in Islam. And I just want to back up a little so you guys could hear exactly what he says.
Men and women are equal yet different. While men and women have equal rights as a general principle in Islam, the specific rights and responsibilities granted to them are not identical.
So he says women have equal rights. No, you cannot beat your husband, but a husband can beat you and refuse to sleep with you. And then guess what? In Islam, a woman cannot refuse to sleep with her man, with her husband, because Muhammad say the woman is the man's field. He should plow her whenever he wanted. So at the end of the day, that means sexually, he should plow her whenever he wants to. It goes to a point where Muhammad even mentioned plowing her from the front, from the side to the back. and and some of the Muslim actually believe that from the back mean anal sex. This is the danger of Islam. From the back actually mean anal sex. There were people quoting Umar as saying that it mean anal sex. So there were Muslims who actually believe that it mean anal sex. This is a Christian prince often tell us that Islam is a religion of is a sexual cult, and when you look at it, it's so plain to see that so many things is geared upon sex. Even in the so-called paradise of Islam, women are just sex are used for sex. Are used for sex. Men will get all these women. And a matter of fact, there's an Islamic site. I gotta find that. That is called Ask a Muslim, ask something. Let me find it. Let me see if I find it. Yes, there it is, right here. So the site is called, let me see, it says, I remember the question that was asked was, is there sex life in paradise? And when the guy answered the question, the guy actually says that a man, the guy answered the question and says, yeah, a man, it's a Muslim Imam that run the site. And he answered the question. He said a man will be able to be in multiple places at one time, just to have sex with the amount of women that he is going to get in this so-called paradise. I don't know why it didn't come up normally when I put that in, unless they pull the website down. But the website says, is there sex life in paradise? So maybe somebody pulled the website down. But what it was there, and I actually quoted it several times. Yeah, here it is. Here is the website. I actually saved the website, so let me put it. Sorry, let me put it in the Google search and see what comes up. Okay, so let's see what the name of the website actually is. So the name of the website is Christian and Islam, and the question asked is, does sex life exist in paradise? So that's the question. Does sex life exist in paradise? And this was submitted by Hussein, and that was like 2010. That was in June 2010. And the Imam answered, a human being will be able to be present in many places at the same time. It's just because they have all these women that they're gonna get in paradise. Yeah. So this is what so the guy is answering, the companion of the garden shall that day have joy in all that they do. So sex life they're talking about. In them will be maiden chaste, restrained in their glances, whom no man or jinn before them had touched. And they are actually quoting the Quran. They actually is quoting the Quran. This is what, Surah 56, verse 55, verse 56. So, and the women are going to be like unto rubies and coral, according to 55, verse 58. You know, so so where we see women, it's about women. Can a woman in paradise have more men? No. So they are not equal. They are never, a woman and a man is never equal in Islam, because a man can have 4 wives while a woman can only have one man. So there is never an equality. So off the bat, he started out by not telling the truth.
Men and women have complementary rights and responsibilities. And aside from external and internal anatomical,
Do you notice what he said? Complementary rights. Man and a woman have complementary right. If how a man and a woman have complementary right in Islam, when a man can have 4 wives and a woman can, have to wait her turn to be with that man. There's no, so that's nothing complimentary about that. I remember this woman, Muhammad was married to a woman called Sada, and she was older when Muhammad married to her. And then as Muhammad grew older, she grew older, and there was a point where Muhammad, just because she didn't want Muhammad to divorce her because of her age, she would give Aisha her turn to be with Muhammad. So Aisha would get her turn to sleep and do whatever she want to do with Muhammad. And the crazy thing about it is that Muhammad agreed with that term. If your wife become too old and you're you have more than one wife, and your wife becomes so old that you may not sexually desire to have, you might not have the sexual desire to have sex with her, but you still could spend that time with her, making her feel like she's a woman. But instead, Muhammad went to the young baby that he married to the 9-year-old that he married to. So maybe at that time, Aisha maybe about 12 years old, or older than that, or maybe 16 years old, or maybe less, because Muhammad was poisoned and suffered for what? About 4 years before he died. So, he had sex with her when she was about what? 9 years old. So when you look at it, she maybe was about 12 years old. So Muhammad rather to, spend the time with having sex with a 12-year-old, and than spending time with his older wife, where you don't have to have sex when you are with a woman. You just have to pay attention to her, listen to her, talk to her, assure her. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, and Muhammad is a perfect example to follow according to the Quran 33 verse 21. So you see that from the bat, the Imam is not really telling the truth. Complementary role. If you have complementary role, how is it complementary where you put your wife aside when your wife and could Aisha put Muhammad aside? The Quran actually in Quran, I think Quran 4 verse 30 30 34, yes, Quran 4 verse 34 said you could beat your wife, and a matter of fact, you could banish them to beds apart. That means you choose not to sleep with them. But in Islam, according to Islam, the woman cannot choose not to sleep with the man. The woman cannot choose not to sleep with the man. So how is that the same when a woman cannot choose to sleep with not to sleep? A woman cannot choose not to sleep with a man. So as we go along, I will show you, if we time a lot, we show you that where, according to Islam, the man have the right to sleep with the woman whenever he feels like.
Differences. Scientists know there are many other subtle differences in the way the brains of men and women process language, information, and emotion, just to mention a few. A sociobiology expert, Edward O. Wilson of Harvard University, said that females tend to be higher than males in verbal skills, empathy, and social skills, among other things, while men tend to be higher in independence, dominance, spatial, and mathematical skills.
Wow. So he quote this man saying that men tend to be dominant in spatial skill. I wonder how long ago that man quote that man wrote that stuff, because that's not true. If you look now, like even in my country, my home country in Jamaica, women are taking hold. Women are the ones that go into school, getting all the degrees. And in America too, we see where women are taking over. So you see that, Islam is not for modern women. Islam is for the dark ages, because if you say that men are more intelligent in mathematics, and that's not really true. There's a lot of women out here becoming doctors, and and when you are in going for to become a medical doctor, you have to know mathematics, you have to know all that stuff, because you're doing like chemistry, physics, and all that stuff. You got to know all that stuff. So I don't know which age, that I didn't look that up to see which age this guy is speaking from, but it's all about application. What does women apply themselves to? And then it says women are better at socialization, and in today's world, it require good social skill in the job market right now. In a lot of these jobs that are out here require a lot of good social skill, and if you do not have good social skill, you cannot function in certain position in these jobs. A doctor need to have very good social skill, to be real with you, in today's world, because you can't be blunt. Nobody wants a person blunt. You're sick and a blunt person coming in front of you. You need somebody jovial. If you notice a lot, like you see doctors dancing and doing all this stuff, do you know how those people affect sick people, and all that? I understand that men in certain field, men are more in certain field and they excel more. And but if women are given the opportunities in those fields, women will dominate those, will be dominant in those fields. I agree that, like construction and this stuff, men are always going to be the dominant force in these things. Why? Because men are more physical than women. Not all. Because the other day I was telling you where you remember where Muhammad called the women glass vessels. And I said there's a fighter in MMA called Rose. Her last name is I never get her last name, but I have a lot of I like her a lot. She's so humble, and her name is Rose. And I said Rose will kick Muhammad's ass. Literally, if Muhammad come back to life, and if one-on-one, and Rose will kick his ass. Even with his spear in his hand, Rose will kick his ass. That's what I'm saying. So all this talk demeaning women, because this to me is demeaning to women. The stuff that he's saying, is to me is demeaning to women, because overall, men are stronger. We know that. We see where these what they call them, transgender, whatever they call them, male, are trying to fight in the MMA with women and try to be in women's sports, track and field, and basketball and other things. And I think that is wrong. It should not happen that way. Because why it should not happen? We have testosterone, and because we have testosterone, our muscles in most time are bigger and we are stronger. We have more endurance than women do. Not all the time, and it's just the way it is when it comes to our genetic makeup. But when it comes to mental makeup, a man have nothing on a woman. That's a woman can do whatever she put her mind to. So that's to show that Muhammad was a liar. Muhammad actually says there is a deficiency in the mental ability of a woman. And so let me show you what Muhammad actually say, if I could find it. If I could find what he says. And I will show you how, even from that Surah 4, verse 34, the one that says a man can beat their wife. We're gonna show you how the God, whoever made this is not God. Because before I show you where Muhammad say women is inferior, let me read this for you, and I'll show you that something is definitely not right. when you actually look at it, you could tell that something is not right about what you are reading here. You know that whoever wrote this have a deficiency in their knowledge. And let me show you why. They were just writing for the time that they live in. Men have authority over women because God has made the one superior to the other. I know in the Bible it says submit to wife, submit to your husband. But if you notice what the Bible says to the husband, love your wife as yourself. So if the wife is submitting to the husband, you love the wife as you love yourself, then you are going to submit yourself to your wife at the same time. So it's a partnership, and that's why you could tell that the Bible is from a superior place versus the Quran. But the Quran say one is superior to the other, but it don't give no leverage there, and because they spend their wealth to maintain them. Do you see how stupid the author of the Quran is? Because they spend their wealth to maintain them. Right now, there are women in the United States, in Jamaica. The other day, I read an article where women in Jamaica were saying that they can't find their equal to them when it comes to ambition and money-wise. and motivation to make money and to have a better life, a financial life. They say they cannot find their equal to them because women are go-getters. They are rising to the top, and they are showing men that, hey, I got big broad back too. I have backbone. I can do my stuff. And they are going into fields and making good money. And listen to what the naive person who wrote the Quran says. And because they spend their wealth to maintain them. So in today's day where I'm making $10,000 a year and a woman is making $100,000 a year, who's spending the wealth to maintain? Who's spending the wealth to maintain who? Do you see that the Quran was just written for the desert of Arabia? It wasn't written for this time. It was not. Because what's going to happen now? When a woman go out and make her money, and I've seen it with Muslims here, for real, I'm not lying. I've seen it with Muslims, when their wife go out and make the money, they dominate and control the money. Because the Quran told them that they are superior to the woman. So they dominate the woman's money and control the woman's money. And that's the way it is. But guess what? In the other case, the woman cannot dominate their money. Men are superior to women on account of the qualities with which Allah had gifted the one above the other. Men are superior to women. So you see that. according to the writing of Paul, a man is superior to a woman in what way? No, as the head, but at the same time, he's saying to the man, he says, love your wife as you love yourself. So if you love your wife, it's not a dominating religion, a religion or a dominating lifestyle where you could beat your wife, as the Quran tell you could beat your wife. So let me read where the Quran tell you could beat your wife. So here we are. And as for those women whose ill will you have reason to fear. So notice, ill will you have reason to fear. That's what that translation said. Admonish them first, then leave them alone in bed, so you don't sleep with them no more. Then beat them. Muhammad Assad. So, so Sai International says, but those wives for whom you fear arrogance, so you fear that they will be arrogant, first advise them, then if they persist, forsake them in bed, and finally strike them. Wow. So you beat up your wife, and then you are equal to your wife. What if your wife, look what the Imam is saying, what if your wife fear arrogance in you? Can she advise you? Then if you persist, forsake you in bed, and then you continue, she strike you? No, she can't. And then you know what these Muslims do? Because they know that the Quran is not for today's people. What they do, they go around and say, oh, you could hit her with a toothbrush, how you could hit her. They soften these things up. People come later after Muhammad and soften these things up. But what do we know? How do we know that this is not the ideation of Muhammad? How do we know that? We go to the hadith, the history surrounding Muhammad. And if we go to Sahih al-Bukhari, volume 7, book 72, number 115, what do we read there? Narrated Ikrimah, Rifah divorced his wife, whereupon Abdurrahman married her. Aisha said that the lady came wearing a green veil and complained to Aisha of her husband and showed her a green spot on her skin caused by beating. So Muhammad wrote a verse that tell this man that he can beat his wife. So he's beating his wife. And she have a green spot on her skin. And as a nurse, I'm a nurse, so I know what when they say, and this is why you know that this is true. You know, the description, we see there is a part of what actually show that this is true. When you just get a bruise, when you get a trauma to your skin, especially if you are light skinned, like a black person, sometimes you don't even see the bruise that you have, but you do have a bruise. Because not because you're black, you're different from white people in that way. But a black skinned person, and there's nobody really white, anyway, but that's a description. But a dark skinned person, when you get a bruise, because the skin is dark, it hides the bruise, because a bruise is of a purplish color, a purple darkish color. So because the skin is dark, it conceals that bruise. But a lighter skinned person, maybe a black person who is light skinned, or a Caucasian person, or a Chinese, Japanese, Arab, when they get a bruise, the purple shows up. After the purple shows up, about maybe 4, 5, 6 days later, guess what? It turns green. Then it started turning a slight yellow around the edges, and it started fading until it goes back to your normal. Because what happened to a bruise? A bruise, not a bruise, like a discolor on the skin like that. Sometimes it caused by blood vessel, not sometimes, all time. It caused by blood vessel ruptured under the skin, but the skin is not broken. So the blood cannot escape. So the blood collect under the superficial and cause that discoloration. But when the blood is when it's going away, when all that blood, the body is taking care of that and it's fading, it have a green color. And notice what Aisha says, and show her a green spot on her skin caused by beating. It was the habit of ladies to support each other. So when Allah's apostle came, Aisha said, I have not seen any women suffering as much as the believing women. So you see that the God of Islam is a donkey. And on this show, what we do when we have a donkey, we give them the donkey. We give them the donkey symbol, because the God of Islam must be a donkey. You know, because the God of Islam make a law that cause women to be suffering more than the unbelieving women. There is actually a narration that says we used to have control over our women, over our women. Do you see that? We used to have control over our women. There's a narration, I can't remember, but it says we used to have the upper hand over a woman until the Ansar, something like that, Ansari, you know, women, the Ansari women, the influence of the Ansari women. So they lost control over the women, according to them, because of the influence of the Ansari women. But what we are seeing is that the women of the Ansari were not suffering as much as the Muslim women. Aisha is saying that the most sufferation she see among women is the Muslim women. And do you remember where people were saying that during the time of Muhammad, they used to sacrifice their children to this, and they used to do this, and they used to do that? You know, I don't believe that kind of stuff. You know, for real, I don't. I don't believe that, because we are seeing that there was a more civilized society, that Muhammad was living in a more civilized society. Why? Because do you remember when there was a guy who leave Christianity and become Muslim? So he leave Christianity and become Muslim. And when he became Muslim, he see how Islam was evil. And he said the worst thing he ever do in his life, I'm paraphrasing him, his name was B. Mansour. And he says the worst thing he ever do in his life is to become a Muslim. And a guy called Makril, and he said, I will not leave my religion. So he went back to Christianity and said, I will not leave Christianity for the religion of wickedness, which is Islam. So here it is, you live in this era of these Muslims, and you could see that their religion is more wicked than anything that you've seen around you. Because Islam is more wicked than all the religions out here right now. Even now, Islam is more wicked than all the religions out here. And it's not untruth. It is pure truth. A man in Pakistan, he came from, I think, Bangladesh, and came to Pakistan to work as a manager. And he took a poster that have something religious on it, and he maybe throw it in the garbage. And that man lost his life and was lit on fire. Islam is the most violent, wicked religion out here now. Islam is like, and if they get the rule, do you hear what that Ali Dawa says? He says, when I'm paraphrasing it, idiots like you leave your religion, and become a nuisance in the land, um, you deserve capital punishment. I'm paraphrasing, remember. And we'll be watching and we're proud of it. So leaving your religion, you deserve to die. Islam is the most wicked, vile religion out here. And if they get their way in our society in the United States and the Western world, they would cause havoc. They would cause havoc. People would, women would be treated like dogs. I see a video surfacing where a woman, she actually dressed decent, long dress. The only thing she did not cover her face. And a man came out. It happened in Iran, I think. A man came out, kick her down, tore her down, and she may be somebody's wife. Tore her down on the roadside. You see the water running on the roadside because some these countries they don't cover the sewage water. When I say sewage, I'm not talking about feces water. I'm talking about water from the pipe, like kitchen water. You could see kitchen water running on the side of the street in certain places. Even in some places in Jamaica, you see that. So she running a gutter on the side of the street, and it tore the woman down and treating the woman bad, but she was fighting back because she, this is a new era where women are standing up for their right and they're fighting back. So as I say, since Allah failed the test and is now donkeyfied, we are gonna give Allah what he deserves. So this is a donkey laughing at Allah. Right. Because what God would give a law that would cause women to be suffering. And the funny thing about that whole incident is what Muhammad did. The funny thing is about the whole incident is what Muhammad did. And then the craziness about it, who knows, that woman, Muhammad actually make a judgment, and when that woman go home, that woman maybe end up getting beaten again because the woman actually revealed Muhammad's secret, not Muhammad, her husband's secret in public. So when Abdurrahman heard that his wife had gone to the Prophet, he came with his 2 sons from another wife. Notice, from another wife. From another wife. He said, by Allah, I have done no wrong. She said, by Allah, I have done no wrong to him, but he is impotent and is as useless to me as this, holding and showing the fringe of her garment. So the woman is saying that the man is useless. Do you remember what Muhammad did when his wife became sexually useless to him? She gave her time to with herself to Aisha, and Muhammad took it. Muhammad didn't see the wife and say, okay, let me spend time with my wife. It don't have to be sexual. I could hug her, talk to her, reassure her, let her feel like she's a human being. Instead, he went to this young girl and play around, because Muhammad actually was playing with young girls, because there was a man whose brother died, if I remember correctly. His brother died and leave some daughters, so he married to a older woman, so that the older woman can help him to take care of his brother's daughters. And Muhammad said, why didn't you marry to a young girl so you could play with her? Muhammad is a child. Muhammad was funny, man. So at the end of the day, the woman is saying now that the man is impotent and he is useless to her. He's useless to her, holding and showing the fringe of her garment. She's saying he's useless like this thread hanging out of my garment. Abdurrahman said, by Allah, O Allah apostle, she told a lie. I am very strong and I can satisfy her. I am very strong. Strength have nothing to do with satisfaction, impotence. But she is disobedient and want to go back to Rapha. Allah apostle said to her, if that is your intention, then know that this is unlawful for you to remarry Rapha unless Abdurrahman had sexual intercourse with you. Do you see how Muhammad used women? So look at this. A woman married to she leave her childhood love and she went and married to another man. Then the night of her wedding, she said to herself, this is a Muslim society I'm talking about, because in a Christian society it's not that way. But in a Muslim society, she said to herself, wow, what did I just do? I leave my love and I'm with this man and I don't really love this man. I don't know what I do, because we all make mistakes. And under Islamic law, according to Muhammad right here, she would have to have sex with the man she just married in order to go back to her first husband. Wow. And then it's even worse. There is a hadith that says if a woman leave a man, even if she didn't go to marry to another person, even if a woman leave a man and she didn't marry to another person, in order to go back to her husband, she have to go and marry to a man and have sex with that man before she can go back to her wife, her husband. And then you're talking about, but a man is not under the subjection. But this Imam is saying there's equality in Islam. There is no equality for women in Islam. A woman is a sex toy in Islam. And even maybe today's day where women are showing their intelligence because they are given the opportunity that they didn't have in the past to show that they are intelligent just like a man is intelligent and they can do many things that a man do. I'm not saying they can do all that a man do, but they can do many things that a man do. Just likewise that a man can do everything that a woman do in the same way a woman do what they do. But in a society where, like today's society under Islam reign, where the women are the majority breadwinner, they are treated like second-class citizens in their own home. And if they were to follow what Muhammad and the Quran says, if the husband was to be naive enough to follow the Quran. So here we go. So the man says she told a lie and he's fit. So Muhammad said, if that is your intention, then know that it is unlawful for you to remarry Rafi until Abu Rahman had sexual intercourse with you. So the man is impotent. How can he have sexual intercourse if his impotency is true impotency? Then the Prophet saw two boys with Abu Rahman, Abdur Rahman, and asked him, are those your son? And that Abu Rahman said, yes. The Prophet said, you claim what you claim, that is impotent. By Allah, these boys resemble him as a crow resemble a crow. Do you notice how stupid Muhammad was? Those boys were from a different marriage. The man could be impotent within 6 months, 10 months later, a year later, 2 years later. That does not have nothing to do after the kids were born. That doesn't have nothing to do with impotence. Because diabetes and all this stuff can cause impotence, and you could have children before you become impotent. This is the kind of idiotic judgment that these people were under when it comes to Muhammad. And that's the Sahih Bukhari, volume 7, book 72, number 715. So you see, and that's not the only hadith we find this in. It's in more hadith. He said, I've never seen any, Aisha says, I've never seen any woman endure what the believing woman endure. Her skin is greener than her clothes. So Aisha is showing that under Islamic rule, women were suffering. So what does that mean when they say women, and why were women suffering? Because the so-called God, the invented God of Islam, Muhammad alter ego, wrote a Quran verse that give men the okay to beat their wives. So you can choose not to sleep with them. You can talk to them first, then choose not to sleep with them, and then if they can't persist, you can beat them. And this is what the beating caused. And did you hear Muhammad in any of these hadith? Did you hear where Muhammad says, go home and live good with your wife and don't beat her. Stop beating her. And you go home and have sex with your husband. Did you hear nothing like that? No. That's not what his reward was. His judgment was. He told the woman, he told the woman that she's a liar. Indirectly told the woman that she's a liar. And guess what? A liar, he based his belief that she's a liar based on his inability to reason. But yet still, a woman's reasoning, according to Muhammad, a woman's reasoning is less than that of a man. That's true. I'm going to show you where. Say a woman came to the Prophet while we were with him. Narrated Al-Qudri, Abu Sayyid Al-Qudri. She said, Apostle of Allah, my husband, Safwan ibn al-Mutal, beat me when I pray. So this woman was praying and the husband is beating her. Wow. The Prophet says, if one surah is recited during prayer, that is sufficient for the people. He asked Sufran. So the Prophet asked Sufran, who was present, about what. So the Prophet asked Sufran, who was present, about what she had said. He replied, Apostle of Allah, as for her statement, he beats me when I pray. She recited 2 surahs during prayer, and I have prohibited her to do so. Wow. And guess what Muhammad said? If 1 surah is recited during prayer, that is sufficient for the people. Wow. Sufran continued. As regard to her saying, he makes me break my fast, she dotes and fasting. I am a young man and I cannot restrain myself. Wow. Do you see that? Mohammed, so if the woman continue to read 2 surah, the man will continue to beat her. Wow. That's what Islam is. And this is what this guy is actually selling to this Western. The laughing donkey is a legendary video. Allah is a donkey man. So here we go. Let's get back to this guy video, because you could make things sounds good. You could paint a donkey to make it look like a prince, but you can never. The donkey will never actually be a prince, and that's what you see. You will find in this video.
And rank-related regression, as well as other characteristics. So it'd be foolish to treat both genders the same in all aspects and to ignore the differences.
What is the difference between a man and a woman? A man is male and a woman is female. In today's society, what's the difference between a man and a woman? A man is male and a woman is female. A man is a husband, a woman is a wife. A man, in most cases, may be a little stronger than his wife. Got some beard on his face. And in most cases, men, not most, no. Let me take this back. In some cases, in a house where there is a husband, the husband might, some cases, remember, I took it back. In some cases, the man might be the majority breadwinner. In other cases, the women are. And today, I'm telling you, it might be more than 50-50 with the woman favoring the woman, because most of the workforce today is made up of women. So at the end of the day, like, what really is the difference between a man and a woman? In the house, in a Christian environment, if the woman is really following the Bible, she'll give her husband the head of the household, but that doesn't mean that he's a dominating head who dominates his wife, treat her bad, and beat her whenever they have an argument, like the Quran says. No, it means that certain decision, major decision, he have a big part in certain major decision. Not her going to the hairdresser, nothing like that, or her going to do her nails, because women do those stuff. But in any major thing that have to do with the home, any major thing have to do with the home, the air conditioning is out, the heater is out, things like those. What a refurbishing, and that's a refurbishing. I mean, not remodeling, because a woman can refurbish a house without a man, unless they don't have money like that. But a woman could refurbish a house, could buy a sofa without a man involvement in it. She'll be like, "Oh, I think we should get rid of these sofa, or put them in the basement, or whatever, and get some more sofa." And if she might run it across to him, and he might say, "Do you think we have the money for that right now?" And she might, say, "Yeah, we do. We could do it." If he, and they come together and they do their thing, but the woman could make that decision. The woman could make a decision like that, but any major decision that's going to cost some money, they both need to discuss these things. Like, I don't do things without my wife approval. I really don't, because what, it will come back and bite you, because what, you can't just come and just make decision like that. Sometimes you want to, but you can't, because even though you might be the majority breadwinner, the money is not yours. The money is not yours. It's for both of you guys. The money is for both of you guys, and you can't just jump up and say, "Oh, I'm gonna do this," when your wife doesn't agree with you doing it. Because what later is gonna come back, I'm telling you, it will come back, where she's gonna be like, "What about when?" Don't let your wife say, "What about when?" Let your wife have respect for you, so that she knows. She says, "No, babe, don't do that. Now, this is this." Look into her reasoning and say, "What about this?" She said, "No, don't do it." You don't do it because what? Use two of you into this. Two of you into this. Certain things, that she really can't stop you from doing it. You have a power over her, stopping you from doing certain things, just like she have power over you, stopping her from doing charitable things. And I have power over her, stopping me from doing charitable things. But some things that you consider charitable, you have to look back at it, when her reasoning comes to you with your reasoning. If it's charitable as helping a homeless person, doing this, doing that's different. But if it's charitable, if it's something that gonna is big time, you have to listen to your wife. Like, hey, that's not something that we should get into. You should get into. Listen to her, because what? She's your other half. It's a love her like you love yourself. You don't want to quarrel in your home and animosity in your home. So let's continue to listen to this guy.
Islam teaches that men and women have complementary yet different roles because it's best suited for both of their natures. Allah says in the Quran, in Surah Al-Imran, chapter 3, verse 36, and the male is not like the female. And also in the 67th,
Allah said the male is not like the female. Everybody knows that. The male is not like the female. Oh, wow. Allah is so bright. The male is not like the female. A little boy says, girl have a vagina and boy have a penis. Yeah, the little boy said. I remember growing up, I used to hear that. Girls have a vagina. Girls have a vagina and boy have a penis. Even the little baby know that the man is not like the woman. Do you see how shallow this kind of narrative this narrative, because he said he narrated by. So this narrative is very, very shallow. We all know that a man is not like a woman. No, we do know that a man is not like a woman. But a man is not a woman is not a man's sex slave to the point where heaven is going to be filled with women. Muhammad actually says with big breasts. They're going to have big breasts. But anyway, I wanted to read this to you guys, what Muhammad said. Narrated Abu Said al-Khudri. The Prophet said, isn't the witness of a woman equal to half that of a man? Do you see how crazy this man was? So if something happened, and a man is there, say two men went out and do something wrong, and one do something wrong, and they are friends, and a woman and her friend is there, and it's done to that woman, and it's done to one other woman, and they go to court, under Muhammad's stupidity, guess what? The man would get away doing the woman what he did to the woman. And that's why I see Christianity as better. Even in this sense, Christianity is totally better anyway. But what I see is better in Christianity. Christianity allowed the law of the land to deal with that. According to Paul, Paul told us, I think also Peter says, to follow the law of the land. Allow the law of the land to rule and take part in these things, because the law of the land, of the judgment, is left in the law of the land. You see something happen, you tell what you see, and the law of the land will look and see reasonable doubt, or it's leave to them to come with the judgment. If I heard a scream, and I open my door, and when I go, something is happening to my neighbor, and I saw something happening to my neighbor, and I call the police, because that's what I'm gonna do. If it's something that I can defend my neighbor, I'm gonna defend my neighbor, and then I'm gonna call the police. And when we call the police, I'm gonna go to court, and I'm gonna tell what I see. and I leave it to the court. And if it's a woman, it's the same way with the woman. You know, you leave it to the court to take action against the perpetrator. But in Islam, this is the nonsense. Isn't the Muhammad said to this woman, isn't the witness of a woman equal to half that of a man? The woman said, yes. He said, this is because of the deficiency of a woman's mind. So a woman have a deficient mind. So Islam is an exploitation of woman, because men could plan exploitation where they know that a man is going to be a woman alone, and they will end up getting away with that exploitation that they plan. Because this is the kind of stupidity that things are judged on. Wow. So you see this. You know, I remember Muhammad saying that. I remember Muhammad saying something like, what's it saying? If one forget, the other will remind it. Like women have a very forgetful mind. That's what Muhammad says. Look at all these women graduating from all these schools, becoming doctor. To be real with you, like the jobs that I work at, there's so many female doctors. So many female doctors. You know, I have so much respect for them, to see women, you know, standing up and at the forefront fighting this battle and doing their job. Police force. There's a lot of women police out here doing what they got to do, putting their life on the line for people. And army. There's a lot of women in the army. Even though it's recently I heard it talking about combative women in combat, but that doesn't mean that they couldn't. I'm telling you, there's some women out here will kick your butt and kick it again if it need to be kicked. They don't play around. So here we have Quran 2 verse 282. And let two men from among you bear witness to all such document, contract of loan without interest. But if two men be not available, there should be one man and two women. So, do you see the craziness? And if two men is not available, it should be one man and two women to bear witness, so that if one of the women forgets anything, the other one will remind her. Madudi, volume 1, page 205. That's the ruling. The Quran in Surah 21 say. Do you see this craziness? Do you see this craziness that Islam is all about? That's what Islam is about. Islam is a mess, man. That's why this channel is called Islam is a Mess. So when we look at it, that's what Islam is about. That's what Islam is about. So you see, the Quran says women is your field. You should go to them and plow them. You know, and this Imam is trying to tell a different tale.
7th chapter of the Quran, verse 14. Allah says, does not the one who created you know? And he is the most kind and the all aware. Allah created men and women to be different.
He said, does not the one who created you know? You could tell that Allah is no creator. Allah is not the creator. Allah is a made up God. You know, because the creator would know what the effect of giving a law that men should beat their women. You know, can you imagine, man? Wow. Can you imagine what America would be? The women are suffering here already from domestic violence. Women are suffering here from domestic violence. There are so many cases of domestic violence. And in Islam, I'm telling you, there's so many cases of domestic violence. If you look, you see where men burn their women, burn, literally throw acid or whatever, and burn the women, and burn their women. I used to talk to this girl in Marsabit, Kenya. You know, I used to have you know, I used to, I still talk to her every now and then in Marsabit, Kenya. And one day she was laughing, and I said, "What's going on?" And I heard a uproar in the back, and like in the background. And I said, "What's going on?" A Muslim, she said, a Muslim man beating his wife. A Muslim man was beating his wife because the Quran tell you, and they will say, if you don't beat me, you don't love me. Because their mind are trained to believe that. But when you come to the Western world, can you, that kind of life, you can't live that kind of life. So Islam is nothing. Islam is for places where women are not advanced enough to see that they are equal to a man in and not that they're equal to a man. A woman is a man. No, you're not a man, but you're equal to a man as a person. You know, and I'm not equal to a woman, but I'm equal to a woman as a person, because, you know, the problem we have is men playing the role of women and women playing the role of men. You know, men wanting to be women and women wanting to be men. You know, so when I say we are not equal, that's the sense I'm talking about, because a man is not a woman and a woman is not a man, but we are equal as people and as person in the sight of God Almighty. And even though the Bible says, submit yourself, wife, submit yourself to your husband, the Bible also say, husband, love your wife as Christ loved the church. And now what did Christ do for the church? Christ gave his life for the church. Is, you know, so it's a love your wife as yourself, as you love yourself. You know, so let me get into that. So if we look at the book of Ephesians 5, I love the book of Ephesians. Ephesians 5, verse 25 to 23. Husband, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of water with the word, so that he might present the church to himself in splendor. So you love your wife. In the same way, hold on, let me see where we go now. Okay. In the same way. So he gave all this thing that Christ do for the church. He said, in the same way, husband should love their wife as their own bodies. Wow. He who love his wife, love himself. Would you beat up yourself till you're blue? No. No. Unless you're crazy like Muhammad, who was trying to jump off the top of mountains to kill himself. So you see, a crazy man was giving them commandment. He did not regard his life to the point where several times he tried to kill himself. Several times he tried to kill himself. It's not like he was dying for a cause. Jesus came and died for a cause. And he said, I lay down my life so I will take it up again. So he died for my sins and then take it up so that I will live. But Muhammad was trying to go into the mountains, trying to kill himself. And he's the one telling you to beat your wife. Can you imagine you're making a madman tell you to beat your wife? And how do we know that Muhammad was a madman? Let Muhammad speak for himself. according to the Islamic sources. We're going to let Muhammad speak for himself. I remember one time I told someone that Muhammad was a madman, and he said, "Oh, they say in Mark 3 verse this, Jesus was mad." It's not what people say about you that is the thing. When I was growing up as a young man, you know, I had to drop out of high school because 5 of us was going to high school, and in Jamaica you have to pay for high school. I was going to school so bad that they would bother me when I go to school, and I just, like, you know, even the couple of days that my parents could afford to send me to school, I didn't want to go. I really didn't want to go because you know, you know, it was not a good feeling, you know. And I remember when I dropped out of school, people start talking all kind of crap about me. And what I did, I sit down and I research everything I could research, because I said, hey, these people don't control my destiny. I control my own destiny. And I find all the free things that the government offer. And I remember the government offer, they had this a center where you could go and learn to cook and learn to do all different kind of stuff. And I went there and learned to cook, find me a job at Sandals. Before I graduate, I have a job. And I'm making more money than those who finish school. Because what? People will say, call you all kind of name and belittle you, but at the same time, you will motivate yourself. You are the one who motivates yourself, you know. And if you don't feel that way about yourself, even as a person, what they say don't mean anything. But when we look at it, people were saying Jesus was crazy, but it is Muhammad, according to the literature, who believed that he was mad and the things he was doing. Why did they say Jesus was mad? Because of the things he was saying. The words he was saying, they were calling him mad. But a madman have power to heal. A madman have, you know, and the things he was doing. So they were calling him madman for that reason. But Muhammad, behavior was the behavior of a madman. So let's go in and let's show you what Muhammad's behavior was. Let's show you what Muhammad's behavior was, and you will see the difference between someone calling you mad and you calling yourself mad. Here we go. So it was a madman telling them to beat on women. O Khadija, I see light, I hear sound, I fear I am mad. Ibn Sa'd, Book of the Major Class, page 225. Ibn Ishaq, Surat Rasul, the life of the Prophet, life of Muhammad, page 106. I thought, woe is me, poet are possessed. You know? And even what Warika say to Muhammad, and why we could use Warika, because Muhammad, Jesus did not come here looking for advice from no one. Jesus was the advisor, the mediator, is. Jesus is the advisor, the mediator between man and God, still is. And so Jesus wasn't looking any advice from anyone, you know. So when people give their advice, it was nothing, you know. They say anything bad about the Messiah, it's meaningless. But if you go seeking advice from a man and the man give you advice, then you need to take that advice seriously, because you seek advice from that person. Why are you seeking advice from a fool? You're seeking advice from a person because you think that they are wise enough to give you advice. I would not seek advice from certain people. Why? Because what? Dealing with them, you could tell if they are right for you to seek advice from. Each person in your life, you know who you can seek advice regarding your wife. If I have issue with my wife, I know who to go to for advice. If I have issue with work, I know who to go to for advice. If I have issue with any other thing, with my diet, because sometimes I think I eat too much. This America will do for you. But anyway, which is glutton, and I'm trying to get rid of it. Seriously. I'm back in the gym, so I'm actually using control in God's mercy. Anyway, so his wife, when Muhammad thought he was mad and he was possessed, his wife took him to Warika, and this is according to Ibn Kathir, the life of the prophet. This is what Warika told Muhammad. I am afraid it may be someone other than Gabriel, for certain devils imitate him, and by so doing can mislead and corrupt some men. This can result in a man becoming confused, even crazy, whereas before he has been of sound mind. So we see it's total. So they had a madman telling them how to treat women. And then even today in the 21st century, we still have people painting this madman religion to make it look like you're going to the circus, you're going to the fair as a kid. And when it's not so, you're actually walking into a nightmare.
With unique roles, skills, and responsibilities. These differences are not viewed as evidences of superiority or inferiority.
Ooh. Look at, do you see, he's selling a different Islam. The Islam he's selling it does not exist. It does not exist. It does not exist. Listen to what the Quran say according to these translations. Quran 4 verse 34. Men have authority over women because God has made the one superior to the other. Men stand superior to women. Palmer. The first one was Dawud. Rodwell. Men are superior to women on account of the quality with which God has gifted the one above the other. So how is it that they're not superior according to this Muslim? These things happen when a Western man is trying to sell Islam. He would paint it in a Western light to make it look like it's something better than what's in the West. And if you notice anything that happened in the West, where they attribute it to Christianity. But if you look at the light that Christianity paint and compare it to Islam, you see that they are incomparable. Christianity is way, way above the light of Islam. The light of Islam is actually not a light. It's darkness. Total darkness. There's no light. So if you look, even though he's trying to paint this light, and that would sound so good, if you are naive and I want to be a Muslim, if you're naive and you're standing and shaky ground, your foot is not solid, your knees are weak, and you're not sturdy because you're not doing your squatting when you go to the gym. But if you look at it, the men should have precedence over the woman. Men should have precedence over the woman. So we look at it, So Surah 4, verse 111. Allah command you as regard your children inheritance. To the male, a portion greater to that, a portion equal, to that of two females. So if you have three daughters, if you have two daughters and you have one son, the son is gonna get. So you have one son, two daughters. Yes, the son is gonna get what? A portion equal to that of two female. So the son is gonna get half of your inheritance. So if you die and leave $10, the son is gonna get $5, and the girl's got to split $5, but they each get $2.50. And if you have, what if you have 2 sons and 1 daughter? So you have 2 sons and 1 daughter, and you have $10. How does that go? You divide that by 5. That's how you do it. You divide it by 5. So the 10 would be divided, so 2. So the lady would get $2. No, sorry. You divide it by 5. 5 into 10, 2. Yes, that's all. Yes, the lady would get $2, and each one of the boy get 4. Yep, exactly. My brain and my maths brain is not working, and I'm sure if they take a little baby girl from India, she would have got it before I got it. A baby girl. Not only India, from here in America. Maybe they called that little girl next door and said, "Hey, if you have," she would have get it before I get it. But yet still, I'm a nurse. I've nothing to do with who you are. You know, I've nothing to do with who you are. So if the woman would only get $2, when each one of the man, $8 was shared equally between the 2 men. Do you see? If there are brothers and sisters, the male will have twice the share of the female. So you see what Muhammad did. So let's continue. So if in the history of Al-Tabari, so in the history of Al-Tabari, we find this. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Whereupon God said, "No, it is my obligation to make her bleed every month." Say, obligation to make her bleed every month, as she made the tree bleed. So God is telling, say, because as he made the tree bleed. What tree bleed? I don't know. You have to read the whole thing to understand that. I also make her stupid. So, so Tabari, I don't know where this come from, but Tabari says Allah said, "I also make her stupid, although I have created her intelligent." So she was intelligent, but then later God make her stupid. Allah make her stupid. Were it not for the affliction that I afflict Eve, the women of this world would not menstruate, and they would be intelligent. Wow. And when pregnant, give birth easily. I know in the Bible, it says because of the eating from the tree, women have birth pain. So she will have bear pain, birth pain. But we have never heard this, where because she eat from the tree, she become intelligent. And they would be unintelligent, and when pregnant, give birth easily. Do you see that? So the women become intelligent. Wow. And how is a woman intelligent? Man, as I tell you, man, when I become a nurse, man, I'm telling you, when I become a nurse, there was a nurse called Lisa. I will never forget that lady. She's the one who took me under her wing and showed me, like, this is nursing. And then when I see people doing stupidity, then I realize I could compare the quality of nursing to the one that is not quality, because I realized that this is how you do it. This is how you chart on people. This is how you administer these medication. This is what you do when you're gonna give this medication. You have to stop the G tube for this amount of time and then restart after this amount of time. This is what you do when you're gonna do this and do all the stuff. I learned those stuff from that lady. For real. Because what? She is an intelligent woman. And my intelligence as a man have nothing to do over her. Because what is intelligence? Intelligence is exposure and experience. And if you are into learning from your exposure and your experience, you will gain intelligence from these things. So whether you are a man or a woman, you could gain. There is certain things that are more difficult for a man to do, and there are certain things that are more difficult for a woman to do. Lately, I see men, just men are advancing, just like women are advancing in a lot of things, different field. There was a time when women were the cook and taking care of all this stuff because that's what men were subjugate them to. Men subjugate women to the kitchen, so they were the cook and they were the one who prepared the tasty meal. But then now you find men are doing this because they're profiting from it. Sometimes not because they want to, but because they're profiting. Their chefs, many that they maybe have more men chef more than female chef now. When I was in Jamaica, there was more male chef in the kitchen than there were female chef, and not because it was anything against gender. No, it was just because there was more men going into the cooking business than women were going into the cooking business. But were there more male in high position than women? Yes, there were, but not now. not now. These women are raising up and showing people like, hey, my shoulder might not be broad as you, but as yours physically. But guess what? My back is as broad as your back when it comes to what I can do and how I can use my mental ability to reach out and get where I want to go. So only a fool would think, would say these stuff. And this Tabari is just he's just mimicking Muhammad's stupidity, because what the donkey bray and the followers of the donkey imitate it. If you have a bird at home and keep saying certain things, after a while the bird gonna imitate. And most of the time the things that the bird catch, guess what, is the worst thing that you ever said. There was birds at the hotel that I used to be at, and they would say hello and stuff like that. But sometimes they say some stuff and you'll be like, whoa, how did they know that? Because it was easy to catch some of the stuff that the guests were saying. And they imitate that. So listen to this. The number of women. So what is this saying? The number of women is because of the fact, so that if one of the two women errs, so the reason this person is saying, the reason they need two women as a witness, but in the case versus one man as a witness. So two women as a witness versus one. It says so that if one of the woman errs, forget the testimony, given their lesser. Oh wow. Astuteness. So you see, women are less astute and accuracy. So women are less accurate in their memory and their recollection. Women are less. Wow. This is Islam. And this is what this guy is selling, that in Islam, women are equal to men. No, they are not. They are not equal. Not at all.
But of specialization. In Islam, the family is of central importance. Within the family structure, man is responsible for the financial well-being of the family.
Do you see that? Islam is not made for the modern world. In Islam, a man is responsible for the financial responsibility of the family. What if your wife have better mental ability than you have? But because of the stupidity of Islam, a lot of these men will not think so. Because they will listen to the stupidity of the Quran and the stupidity of the Hadith and the stupidity of Muhammad overall and think that women are less accurate, women have a lower mental ability. So, and they have these wives who are more capable than they are to make greater money. But instead of helping their wives to reach their high standard, they suppress their wife and have them become baby machine at home, and they go take the responsibility. So they go and they're out there and they are laborers and they are whatever, coming home with the low money. But then the wife who have better mental ability than them and could have gone out there being a nurse, a doctor, something, they don't. They didn't do. They didn't do that. And because these men wanna say and control over these women, they don't allow the women to excel because they listen to the stupidity and say women have less knowledge and less wisdom and less mental ability than men, which is a total lie and stupidity. Man, when I was going to school, when I was younger, before I get to high school, I was very good, like at maths and other thing when I was younger and was in what do you call it, elementary school and stuff like that. I was good, you know. And in Jamaica, you always like you have the person in the here. Then they have exam here, middle term exam, all these exam here. Nobody know what your scores are. In Jamaica, everybody know your score. I don't know what it is like now, but back then everybody know if how much you come in the class because your name goes on a board. And when your name go on the board, number one is the person who have the highest score. And sometimes two people might have the same score, so they are in the same line. And three people might have the same score, the three person is in the same line. But they know who come last in the class, who have the lowest score in the class. They do. And I remember I have a friend called Clive. It was me, a girl called Lisa. It was me and a girl called Lisa and Clive Miller. We were always racing for the top. Like if it's not Clive, it's me. If it's not me, it's no, Lisa. I remember her beating me, but I remember it was us, the three of us at the top in the class. Even in my nursing class here, I was at the top of my nursing class. I never failed anything when I was there because it's about dedication. But there was two girls who were doing the same thing too. Two girls who was up there with me. They passed every class just like I passed every class. Why they passed? Because their mental ability may be even better than mine. Who knows? Who knows? But there was we did this endocrine system thing, and there was I can't remember what else give a lot of the class problem, and we passed the class. When other people fail, we passed. We didn't know what score each other get because over here they keep things private unless you want to tell how much you get. But we passed the class, and those two women and I, and what could I say? My intelligence is better than those women intelligent? No. they maybe kick my butt. Who knows? And there is even in my field of work, there is I just the other day worked with a person on an event. I've never worked with a person on an event before. I work with people with COVID, but I've never worked with a person on a vent until what, a month ago. I worked with a person on a ventilator. But there was women working with the stuff, and it's so easy for them. They were comfortable when I was worried, until now I become comfortable, because you worried, because you be like, wow, this is new, and it's somebody's life you're dealing with. You keep, you spend so much time in that room when you could have spent less time in the room if you were knowledgeable, as that those women are knowledgeable. But they were the one who showed me, like, hey, as long as you do this, you cool, man. As long as you do this, I follow what they do, and now I'm like, wow. Now when I work over there, it's like nothing. I don't believe it. I say Islam is not for the modern world. Islam is, and we all know what's going on in America today. And when I say what's going on in America today, if a man should become Islam minded, Islam minded, and follow all the stupidity of Islam, he have felony, and guess what? He can't get no job, because many companies won't hire you if you have a felony. Lately I see they start now truck drivers and stuff like that. You could go be a truck driver and all the stuff. But when I came to this country, you have a felony, you can't get no job. People have felonies and want to work, and they have to continue to be drug dealers and this, because the society put a stamp on you. You have a felony. They ask you, have you ever been charged with this, and a list? And they have yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, and then you have a background check where they take your fingerprint, run it through their system, and if you're in their database, it's over. It's over. They might not even call you, or they will call you and say, Mister, we have gone through your application and we have moved on. We have considered other applicants. They don't care about you. they don't deal with you if you have a felony. Man, if I have a felony, I could never be a nurse. Wow. Do you see? Right. So you're beating women over here, you end up with a felony. Follow this idiot called Muhammad and beat a woman, you end up with a felony. Wow. It's like somebody on your neck like George Floyd. If you follow, you become George Floyd if you follow. Follow Muhammad, you become George Floyd over here. You put the police sit on your neck, and you might deserve it then. George Floyd didn't deserve it, because what he did was not worthy of somebody on his neck. You beat up a woman, you're worthy to have your neck being compressed. So that's the thing. You see what I'm saying? That's the thing here. So you can't. This guy is selling an Islam that doesn't exist.
While the woman contributes to the family's physical, educational, and emotional well-being, this system encourages.
Do you say while the woman contribute to the physical, emotional well-being? Do you see? So these women can go out there, educate themselves, make a mark in society. But Islam, this Islam that he's selling, notice he's not saying nothing, because the man is a breadwinner. So these women must stay at home, contribute to the and look, So all these three women with their thumbs up, are they home body women? They don't have no job. They don't have no job where they go out and work. They just sit at home, contribute to the family well-being. Wow. There was a man who married to a blind woman, a blind man married to a slave woman, you know, but he killed the woman in front of, he killed the woman because of Muhammad. He stabbed the woman in front of the woman's child. I can't remember if they said blood gush out on a child that was standing by. Oh boy, it's wickedness. But so he killed the woman because of Muhammad, and Muhammad, according to him, because of Muhammad, Muhammad let him go in the monkey court. Muhammad didn't even question him, and as to, you know, he just could make up the story that he killed the woman because of Muhammad, and he got away free, you know. But anyway, so this man was a blind man, you know. Wonder what was his work. I was a slave woman, the breadwinner. Huh? I don't know.
Urges cooperation rather than competition.
Ooh, it's cooperation rather than competition. So if a woman go out and go to school and be a beast out here and out here hunting, like the huntress, is a word called huntress, or the hunter, she can be, then it's a competition. Me and my wife ain't competing in nothing. And sometimes she make more money than I make. It depends on how much I work, how much hours I put in. But I'm not competing with her for no reason. Why? Why would I compete with my wife? I'm glad to see her making her money. Go make your money, my child. Go make your money, my dear. Go make your money. Hunt. Be fierce out there. I ain't stopping you from making it. It's not a competition. Why would you compete with your woman? If she making more money than you, it's a competition. That's the insecurity of Muhammad. You're gonna hear him say something, and you're gonna realize that he's not thinking before he speaks, even though I'm sure he's reading what he said, because you don't just narrating things like that. You're not freestyling like what I'm doing right now. So he's reading from what he wrote. But listen to something that he's gonna say.
By fulfilling their mutual responsibilities, strong families are created, and hence strong societies are created.
So by their mutual relationship, strong societies are created, strong families are created. Knowing and loving Jesus is what creates strong family and strong society. Because when you know and love Jesus, then you treat your spouse fairly. When both of you know and love Jesus, then both of you treat, because you do unto others as you like them to do unto you. That's Matthew 7, verse 12. So, and as I show you, where Paul, a messenger of the Christ, tell you, he says, love your wife like you love yourself. So love your wife like you love yourself. We just read it there, Ephesians. Let me read it again so you will see. So where is, okay. In the same way, husbands should love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife, love himself. So love your wife like you love yourself. You should love your wife. For no one ever ate his own flesh. This is the deepness. That's how you should love your wife. Love your wife like your own flesh. But Muhammad could not love his wife, really. He couldn't love his wives because he was a suicidal man. He slapped Aisha in the chest, and Aisha said it hurt. He was beating on Aisha. He slapped her in the chest. And then these Muslims say he never hurt a soul. He never this. Muhammad used to beat his fellow Muslims. So here we go. I want to get to the point where he is. So a mutual relationship is where you allow your spouse to be all that she can be, righteously, rightfully. Not allow your wife to be wild and running around. No, but when it comes to her going to school, establishing herself, because that's her right. That is her right as an American citizen, and it's a right as a human being to excel and to be whatever she chooses to be. Not, oh, the man is the breadwinner and the woman is the this and this. All this quality that he gave to the woman are quality that both spouse should have. Both spouse should have. And the quality that he gave to the man as a breadwinner in today's society, both should have it. Because when one person trying to get there, it's difficult. It's difficult, especially if you're not educated. It's very difficult. That could see an educated man say, hey, babe, stay home. Especially if your wife is not educated and you are educated, you could tell your wife, hey, stay home. But what if your wife is the educated one and you are not the educated one? And it's not like you didn't try to educate yourself, but you do not have the mental capacity and the mental ability to educate yourself. There is like, say for example, in my country and in a lot of places, there's a lot of men who can read. Even here in America, there's a lot of men who can read. Not that there is not a lot of women who can read, but there's also a lot of men who can read. In today's society, Muhammad who couldn't read according to them. I believe Muhammad could read, but they claim Muhammad could not read. Muhammad couldn't read according in today's society. How would the bandit support his spouses? Could not support his spouses. And then he would have what, 11 wives? Oh, wow. I don't know. But do you see? Don't make no sense. You can't use, and that's why I said the way the Messiah, via the Holy Spirit, because some of these things were done after the Messiah ascended back into heaven. The Messiah, via the Holy Spirit, through the disciples and to, including Paul and others, the way things are given to us makes so much sense. Government rule is not upon us because we are not a political system. We are a religious family. We are a religion and a family. So the political thing is not upon us to control society, because we can. It would be damaging if a Christian try to control society. And that's why the Messiah never give us any rule. And that's why when I heard Amza, the headless hamster, saying that Isabella and Ferdinand prosecute the Jews, and Isabella and Ferdinand were Christian. No, they weren't. You can't be a Christian if you're not following the Messiah. The disciples were called Christian. And who are the disciples? The follower of Christ. You're fake. You're not. Notice what Jesus said. And I'm telling you, the disciple John said something. They went away from us because they were never of us. They were never Christian, and that's why they went away. They were never following. They never fall in love with Jesus. So they went away. And just like the same way, going away from us can, even though John is not saying that they were gone and they were not claiming to be Christians no more. They could have been gone to do evil, doing evil stuff and doing contrary to the doctrine, and they went away from us. Yeah. Anything that is contrary to what Jesus says and what the disciples taught under the influence of the Holy Spirit is contrary to sound doctrine and is not of Christ. So if you're doing something like that, you are away from the truth. You are away from us. If I'm out here doing all kind of crazy stuff, drinking and acting like an idiot and not studying and not trying to improve, and love the Messiah and follow the Messiah. That's trying to love the Messiah, because that's the key thing, is to love the Messiah. If you love the Messiah, notice what the Messiah says. If a man love me, he will keep my commandment, and my Father will love him. So our job is to love the Messiah. Our job is to love the Messiah. That's all our job is. That's why Jesus said to the man, anyone who love me, I'm paraphrasing, to us, anyone who love me less than they love their parents is not worthy of me. Because our job is to show deep, deep love. And love is a commandment, man. Love is a commandment. Love is something that you do. You exercise, you show it. You love God. It shows in your work that you do. So listen to this Bomer. But to be real with you, though, I'm going to be real with you. Kenny Bomer, I don't know. I have I love all Muslim, but I have a different kind of love for this dude. I'm not going to lie about it. To be real with you. Like you ever meet somebody and you say, man, I wish this guy, would have chilled. So you could have a different relationship with him. Yeah. Kenny Boomer is one of them kind of guy. Like you'll be like, man, you'll be like, hey, take up your phone and call and be like, hey, yo, how you doing, man? You cool? But I think the more you get into argument with Christians, you realize that he's a different guy. He will mute you for speaking the truth. You go on his channel and he mute you for speaking the truth. And because look what he's doing now. You will see that what he's doing is not supported by anything. He's just empty speech. But then when you look at citation that I'm citing, you see a difference in. And even though when I don't cite anything that I say, like when I say Muhammad hit Aisha in the chest, I could find it. If I Google it, I could find it for you. If somebody should come on and said, man, you're a liar, he didn't hit her in the chest, I could find it. Oh, he said, do you ever bring people? Oh, yeah, my sister. I always, and I always want to invite you to come in and talk. Yeah. Let me give you, if you're still looking, oh, you must have been here a long time, my sister. Sorry. I always do. I would love to have you on my show. I would really, 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 really love to have you here. You are a sister that I love. You're a God-given gift. I love talking to you. So if you're still around, my sister, you want to come in, you can come in. There's the invite to come in. She have a channel, and I think, I don't know what Kenny do and cause her to lose her channel. He said, do you want a woman's perspective? I always welcome a woman's perspective. Yeah, the mothers of this world, the mothers of this world, women. I'm sorry, my sister. I wasn't watching. I was just watching the video and wasn't watching what's going on there. I got to pay more attention to this. So if I keep watching this, when I'm playing the video, so that I could see. I'm so sorry about this. Really, 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 really sorry. Let me see how I could reach out to you in another way. I could reach out to you and see if you still want to come on and say something. Because you've been trying to get on for so long. Oh, sorry, my sister. Sorry. How can I get you on? If I go to your channel, oh, your channel is not there no more. Yeah, you should still have your channel. Okay, let's see where you do it. Okay. me see if I could find it this way. I have your channel on my stuff. I can't find it. Anyway, so let me continue because I might not be able to find my sister here. But I love this lady. She's so peaceful. She's really peaceful. I ain't gonna lie about it. She is peaceful. She always telling me to pray for this person, pray for that person. But Kenny caused her to lose her channel, you know. But I'm not the scaredy cat. I'm not scared of losing the channel because I'm speaking the truth. So I don't see her here. I got subscribed to so many channels. It's crazy. And I can't find her. But anyway, so let me continue with Kenny. So if my sister comes on, I will. I'm so sorry, man. Like, it's crazy. Bother me.
Also, emotionally, neither men nor women live a happy life without the other.
And so, as I say, he said, a man or a woman live a happy life without the other. Happiness is a choice. Happiness is a choice that you can make, and how comfortable you are with yourself. Happiness is not based on having a wife or having a husband. A woman can be happy without a husband, and a man can be happy without a wife. Because let me tell you where happiness lies: in the Messiah. In the Messiah, that's where happiness lies. Happiness does not lie in a woman, and happiness doesn't lie in a man. It's a curse. Curse is the man that put his trust in humankind. So you put your trust in humankind, you will be unhappy all the time. You're gonna love humankind because that's the second greatest commandment, is to love humankind. The first greatest commandment is to love the Lord God. So if you're loving the Lord God, you could be happy. And you love humankind at the same time, you could be happy. But it doesn't mean that you have to have a wife to be loving humankind. And you don't have to. Nobody have to have sex. Sex is not a life requirement for life. No man requires sex. Sorry. No man requires sex for life. You don't. Who requires sex for life? Let me see the hands of the person who requires sex for life. I wish my sister would come back. I'm so sorry, man. I sent an invite to my brother, and he didn't see my invite. But I would want her on the show. Sex is not a requirement, and companionship is a requirement. But companionship doesn't have to be in a wife. As long as you don't isolate yourself from people. What about the man who have a wife and his wife died? I want to replay this. I want to replay what Kenny says.
Or women live a happy life without the other.
Notice, let's see.
Neither men nor women live a happy life without the other.
But according to the Hadith, when Muhammad died, how old was Aisha? She was 18 years old. She was what? 18 years old. I think she was 18. If my memory served me right, she was 18 years old. She was 18 years old, I think. When Muhammad died, I think she was 18 years old. But Muhammad was so selfish and so controlling that he gave laws that no one should marry to his wives. So the young woman, Aisha, never get married again. But you notice what Kenny said?
Also, emotionally, neither men nor women live a happy life without the other.
Neither men nor women live a happy life without the other. So Aisha must be sad without having a man until her death, because Muhammad died, and in his jealousy, she could not marry again. So that was a punishment for Aisha to marry to Muhammad. Was it? If
Emotionally, neither men nor women live a happy life without the other.
Aisha must have been very, very sad if
Emotionally, neither men nor women live a happy life without the other.
Wow. So, according to the Bible, and even though this is speaking about the law, but it's actually speaking about marriage. When a woman or a man is bound to his wife by marriage, but if one dies, then the person who is alive is free to marry again. Let's find it. I said the Bible is the way, man. And that's why these Muslims keep fighting. Okay, Corinthians 7 verse 39. A woman is bound to her husband as long as he lives. To marriage. He's bound to her husband as long as he lives. Under the law of the Messiah, because the Messiah says you could divorce your wife if your wife is sexually unlawful, unloyal. And a woman could divorce her husband if he is sexually unloyal. But under the law, Paul is speaking under the law. He says, Paul is speaking about the law. No, what bound? How you're bound while you're within the law. A woman is bound to her husband as long as she lives. But if her husband dies, she is free to marry anyone she wishes, but he must belong to the Lord. So you see, oh wow, this is beautiful. He must belong to the Lord because what? That's what brings true happiness. He must belong to the Lord. Because when two people are belong to the Lord, they're going to follow the Lord's commandment. And what the same Paul written from the Lord says, love your wife as you love yourself. Love your wife as you love yourself. Love your wife as Christ loved the church. Wow. Beautiful. For instance, a married woman is bound. Here go Paul again, Romans 7 verse 2. A married woman is bound by the law to her husband as long as she lives. But if her husband dies, she is released from the law of marriage. So she could go again and marry again. But this is what Muhammad did. Muhammad says if a woman married to a man and then she leave that man and go and marry to another man, then she realized like, whoa, I leave my husband. What did I do? It said the night of her marriage, she realized that she did something bad. Guess what? In order to go back to her first husband, she must have sex with the one that she just married. She can't come to her senses and said, wow, I just leave my love, my children's father, and go back to her and said, hey, I'm sorry, I can't do this, and have the freedom to go back to her husband without violating herself. Because in the first place, under Jesus' law, she's still bound to her first husband. Because what? Her first husband did not commit any sexual immorality. Do you see? So you see the difference between these laws. Do you see the difference between these laws? Someone is knocking at my door. I hope he's not someone who is poor. Really, I really do hope he's not someone who is poor. Because I'm on this podcast. Oh, my sister, man, I wanted her to come on so bad. Oh, my sister, you know, and she been here for a while, but she may be gone by now. She realized I'm ignoring her, which I did not see her. Anyway, so let's continue to listen to him.
Allah describes this beautifully by saying in Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter 2, verse 187, they are clothing for you, and you are clothing for them. This means that they're garments protecting one another.
Do you notice the person called Allah, whoever that is crazy as hell. You know, the street language. Street, not straight. Street language. Or even straight language too. Why I say the person is crazy as hell? Women are your field. So plow them, approach them wherever, however, from behind and sideways and front ways and whatever. And then they are your clothing and you see what I'm saying? They are your clothing. And you are their clothing. And when you're married to 4 wives, how you clothe them? And jumping from house to house, house to house, how you clothing your wife? How was Sada clothed when she have to give up her? She feared that Muhammad was gonna divorce her because she get old, and she have to give up her time to the younger wife. How was she clothed? If I'm not at work, I'm in my wife's bed. So if woman is your clothing, you gotta be with your woman. How can you have so many clothing? How many clothes can you wear at the same time? This Muslim asked me, I'm gonna show you how crazy it is. If I had my phone, I would just read it from my phone. But he asked me about polygamy and stuff. And so I answer him based on the Quran. And he said, this is not about the Quran. It's about the Jewish God versus the Christian God. So when I say so, I said to him, I said, didn't Muhammad claim that his God is the God of the Christian, and his God is also the God of the Jews? Yeah, he did. He said his God gave the Torah. He said his God was the God of Saul, and his God was the God of David, who gave David the Psalms. So I said, why do you want to exclude your God? And that's the thing about these Muslims, is when you are talking to them and you show them that they say something, and you show them, hey, this is said in your scripture, and they get panic, you know, and they don't want to deal with you no more. They're telling you like, we're not talking about the Quran. We're not talking. Yes, we are. Because if you're gonna make something a double standard, now we are talking about the Quran. If you're talking about something that is in Christianity and is common in Islam, then you open the door for me to talk about Islam. Because and that's the craziness. How is women your how is women your how is women your Covering. How many covering do you want? You want to change your covering every night? Wow. So you change women like you change your clothes. When we were young boys growing up in Jamaica, we used to hear this stuff said all the time. Man, these boys, they change women like they change their clothes. This guy used to come through. He was used to ride a motorbike. Every time you see him, he have a different girl on the back of the bike. So you change women like you change your clothes. So that's what this guy is selling when he's talking about Islam in that way. Let's continue.
For more information about the rights of women in Islam, it can be obtained by contacting your local mosque or masjid, the Islamic Center in your area, or by contacting Discover Islam at P.O. Box 650022 in Sterling, Virginia.
So if I go to the mosque, I could see me going to the mosque, contacting the mosque. And I said, I want to know more about women in Islam. And I walk into the mosque and knowing me, because I'm kind of loud. So I go into this mosque and I said, I want to learn about women writing, and he talking to me like the way Kenny is talking now. What do you do? What would I do? What would I do? You know? And I started going back like, man, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. That would not be nice in a mosque, because I rather meet a Muslim on the street than go into their mosque to talk to them about anything. In the mosque, they got too much power. Next thing I heard, Allahu Akbar. And I would answer, Jesus Akbar. That's what would going on. But anyway, let's continue. Let me see if my sister is back now. Okay. Sorry about that, my sis.
And of course, you can continue to tune into the video series on the rights of women in Islam on this channel. Again, my name is Kenny Bomer, and I leave you by saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you all. Thank you for listening.
Peace be upon you, Kenny. I wish you come to Jesus, my brother. When I say brother, I mean brother in the flesh, in humanity. You would be more truthful in your dialogue, and you wouldn't have to be covering up for anything. You just read it just like it is. Like I read this right here, and I read Corinthians, and I read Ephesians, just like it says. There is nowhere that a husband should beat a wife. Husband, love your wife as Christ loved the church. Christ did not beat the church. Christ beat the thieves in the church, trying to mislead his church. So what? I would beat the person trying to mislead my wife. Well, you would not beat your wife. Do you see the difference? I would not beat my wife, but I beat the person misleading my wife. You see what I'm saying? That's the story. Try not to get myself in trouble here. I would beat nobody unless I had defended my wife. Somebody tried to steal something from my wife. But let's see. So I want to say all peace, all love, and all peace, and all blessing, and God Almighty is working miracles, and when I see the amount of channel, when I look at the amount of channel I subscribe to, it's a lot of channel out here, and I'd like to see that, everybody, is doing it well, for the most part. We all are not well. Some of us are sick. Pray for the sick. And but pray for you to have Jesus in your life. So that whatever happened, it's just a transition. When I say a transition, I mean you're just asleep until the Messiah return. Some things are very scary, but because we are human beings, some things are very scary, but God knows best. God, as long as you trust in God, you're safe. As long as you love the Messiah, you're safe. And you need to, and you see, the thing about it is love your wife like Christ loved the church. Wow. That's some deep love, man. Like, wow. that's deep love. That is deep love. Father, help me to love my wife like you love the church. I love my wife, but I don't know. The way you love the church, wow. That's some deep love. Deep, 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 deep love. Anyway, I said peace out and God bless you. I have a video to do, and this guy, I actually subscribe to a guy's. I think he is an atheist, but he actually, I don't know. This guy have some powerful argument defending Christianity. I don't know. It's kind of I can't remember what his name. I will share his name next video I make. But he has some very powerful argument. He's on my YouTube. So if you go to Olga Yates and my YouTube channel, my Facebook profile, you will see his video there. And because what happened now, a lot of these Muslims are trying to use this psychological way of thinking, this, to attack the Trinity. When sometimes the argument they have, not sometimes, all the time, but sometimes the argument they have, it have nothing, like to do with the Trinity. Like, that's what I want to say. Sometimes the argument the argument will be like, how does that apply to the Trinity? In no way, no form. Like, how, okay, the logic that three cannot be one, and the logic, and I'm like, what logic? Like, what logic that three cannot be one? In humankind, one humanity, but billions of persons of that one humanity. I don't know what they thinking of when they say that, when they look at it and say, wow, what are these people talking about? But when you get to the word person, because it's the only word it's one of the only word, in the English language that can come close to describing what you want, how God is. They would be like, oh, the word person come from the word persona and this and that. So guess what they do? Commit a root word fallacy. In their stupidity, they commit a root word fallacy. So anyway, I want to say peace out and God bless you and all glory to the triune God. I'm going to head to the gym before my wife come home from work. Today, I don't work. I don't work today, so I'm off. Got to get back to work for the weekend, a long weekend, all the way till Tuesday. I work. No, I don't work Saturday. I work Friday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So I'm off Saturday. It's supposed to be my weekend off, but I picked up. Trying to help them out. Nursing is essential. You have to help out as much as you can. I try not to work like I used to work. I used to work hours and hours and hours, man. I don't do that no more. I'm older with a gray beard, and I just want to be home sometimes. Home is beautiful. Anyway, God bless you all, and I love you, and God love you more. I know God love you more. A lot more. Jesus love you more, a whole lot more. and so stay safe and stay away from Islam. Be an Islamophobe, quote unquote. It's good to be, because what they call the phobia is not really a phobia. Anyway, God love you all.